All right. That's full. Oh, almost lost my coffee today. That'd be a sad day. All right, we got a Subaru. We're going to be doing the full thing with the windshield. I get my spot back today. A little bit of running back and forth. But we should be good, right? There we go. I think we're good. All right, so first keg has been filled. We're gonna hook this up right like that. And then we're gonna start with taping seals. Not very dirty, but we'll go the extra mile here. Sure we got a piece big enough for that. Wrap that in. Another piece. Take that. We're gonna flip it around and then overlap it. There we go. Take this piece. We're gonna do the same thing. Then we can roll the window up. Once that's rolled up, almost all the way, I'm gonna wipe this off. Move on to the next one. See? You. So I'm gonna tape basically what I can get to. So some of the rear doors, especially with the angles I've noticed, they just sit a little bit higher up. I'm gonna take a piece, slide it in there, and then I'll cover down here what I can. Sometimes I can sneak it in a little lower, sometimes not. Wrap that. And then roll the window up. Doing good today. Trying to make sure everything was spent the past 2 hours trying to make sure everything was all set up. And it seems to be working. I don't notice any funniness yet, but I will find out soon enough. Dude, just the wildest issues when I try and change something about the setup. And there's good reasons to change it. And then I just run into a bunch of technical difficulties. Ones that shouldn't be there. But then you have to sort through, because on paper, it should all just plug in and work. And then it still never does. Take that, slide that in. You ever get bored? No. Genuinely? No. Because I do too much random shit. So my streaming setup kept me entertained this morning. If you're getting bored of just sitting down, you're not doing enough. There's always shit to do. Looks like there's a massive gap on that tinted window. Nothing's been tinted yet. Shop I work at is dead. Yeah, I mean, I definitely had my fair share of run out to an account for a set of doors that never showed up, and then there's a later afternoon appointment, and then I would get annoyed at those shops wasting my time, and then one day I just like, oh, I'm letting those shops waste my time. And so I started working on things that didn't let other people waste my time. All right. So we have everything taped off, ready to go. We're going to grab our first roll, which is going to be 20. We're going to put 20 on the front. And then it's got privacy glass on the rear. So we're going to do a lighter shade, but over privacy glass. So then it's going to be darker. So we're going to take two pieces. We're going to flip one of them so it's backwards or upside down or reversed or mirrored. And then we're going to be cutting both patterns out at the same time. Where do I got that in my tool belt? Weird. All right, this guy. I need one of these. The tint knife that we use is the red dot with a stainless steel blade in it. So I can cut this side, or I can cut this side first. This side we will start on just because. Poke the knife in, ride it along the seal, make our cut. Then we're going to loosen up our two pieces of film, and we're going to slide this over. Tack, and then we're going to cut this side out. What's the film that is super privacy but super clear on the inside? That is just good film. There's lots of memes that go around about it being specifically ceramic. It has nothing to do with being ceramic. It just has everything to do with being a nice film. Nicer films use better materials and therefore more clear. But you would have a lot of misinformation go like, oh, it's ceramic. But both customers and shops are to blame for it. Customers can kind of not pay attention and be a little bit ignorant to just like, I want that one, and not really learn about what they're getting. And then a shop would take advantage of that and go like, oh, you want the clear one. You need the ceramic. There's a bunch of snake oil that floats on around ceramic, and ceramic is an awesome film for one major reason, and that's that it helps block a lot of heat. But a good ceramic uses good materials. You can have a bad ceramic that blocks out a lot of heat that just doesn't use very good materials, and it's not very clear. All right, so we're going to slice that off straight. This is the top edge. We're going to continue that cut going straight. And then round. Does that look perfectly straight? Now that looks. Non-ceramic is for the pores. There you go. See, that's also true because ceramic is expensive. Or more expensive. And so we're doing our best ceramic right now. Round this just a touch more. There, beautiful. So I have a pattern here. And then we're gonna go. And what that does is it creates two patterns. What? Crazy. I'm going to take this magical pattern and put it over here. We need an extension cord. I'll hook it up. Do you stay busy enough through the slower months? Hope so. We've definitely had our fair share of slow. Been running ads. We've been staying consistently booked out. About 2.5 to 3 weeks now. So we'll see. Were you good at putting stickers on as a kid? No, and I'm not that great at screen protectors. Window tint is a lot of just practice on doing this specific thing. How do you determine which cars you hand cut and which cars you plot out? We're still going to plot out some of this car. Mainly the rear windows here and those front quarters too as well. There we go. That one is all shrunk. We're going to go over and shrink the other door. How can you increase your profits by 10% next month? Put in 10% more effort. No, you could do little things like add-ons. A lot of people don't have any add-on programs. You could do like ceramic coatings on the windows, on the front windshield. You could have a protection plan. So there's obviously things that the warranty covers. Peeling, bubbling, fading. But you could always have a damage plan. So when I worked for a mobile company, they had a pretty interesting one. It was a one-time use, would cover up to 2 windows. And there's a few reasons why you would want to do that. Obviously, keys, something nicks the door, something scratches it, warranty doesn't cover that. Just like if you drop your phone and the screen cracks, warranty doesn't cover that. So what was cool about the protection plan is like you could also use it to replace 2 windows. It was one-time use, replace up to 2 windows. And let's say you got pulled over. You could get them removed and replaced. Let's say you wanted to change the shade. You went lighter on the front. You're like, man, I wish I did 20 instead of 35. You could use it for that. I want to say there was one other thing in there too, but those are the main ones people would use them for. Oh yeah, that's all 3. Damage. People would use it for damage, people would use it for ticket replacement, and then people would use it for looks. They just want to change the shade. Where do you get the... here. You can find tools, and then if you use this code, you'll save 5% off tools. Why'd you squeegee the film right after shrinking? To check it. Oh, why don't you? Yeah, to check it. Like, you don't really have to. It is snap shrink. I'll show you on the other one. Sorry, that's not really a good explanation yet. Battery maintainer? No, it'd be nice to. Probably should. But the car is not on for very long while we're doing the doors. So we'll turn it on when we need to roll them up and down, and then it'll shut off afterwards. So it's really not on that long. So we're going to clean that off, swipe the side edges. And we're going to rinse, coat, and then we can install. Floor tiles? Yeah, the race deck floor tiles, they're really good. But it's an alternative to epoxy. You can let all the dirt fall in between the floor tiles, and then you're going to want to pull them up eventually and clean out underneath. So there's maintenance involved. Versus epoxy, you can clean that regularly. But if you don't have floor drains, you're then standing in water while you're tinting, and then you got to sweep that out the garage, where with the tiles I don't have to do that. You're getting water on my plush leather seating. Bro, let's be real, you only have cloth. Okay, so we're installing this door. I want to make sure this top edge is lined up as close as we can without going over. That looks good. We're going to take a light squeegee, start sweeping that off. Squeegee, 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 squeegee. What do I do if it don't slide? It could be the soap you're using, could be the glass. You might want to torch it. It also could be just use more soap. Because if it's freezing up, it's more a symptom of not having enough soap. But some films, like these, they're actually pretty aggressive. So I'll either add a little bit more soap or torch the window. It's a Subaru. It actually slides pretty well. I put a little extra soap in my bottle and should probably back off. So on this one, if I see, like, it still wants to move, even though I attacked it, got the edges. So the problem would be if I rolled it up now, it's gonna shift out of place. So I'm gonna take a heat gun and just accelerate the drying. If you just wait, it's gonna tack up, but you can heat up corners and edges just for a brief second here. Soap streaks. No, people claim soap streaks all the time. You can use a shit ton of soap and not have any soap streaks. Soap doesn't leave streaks. It just doesn't. There we go. Now if I wiggle it, it's stuck in place. Now we're gonna peel this bottom. So I go back and forth between too much soap and just enough, because if you have just enough, it's nice because you can get it in place, you tack it, and then it sticks. If you add a little bit, like too much soap, then it's gonna keep on sliding, but it's far easier to get it where you needed it to go in the first place. So if I had to pick one, I mean, having it tacked down when you want it to is great for efficiency. And that's usually where I have my stuff dialed in. It's just faster that way, right? But in the summertime, when it's hot, things like to grab really, really aggressively. So adding some extra soap and giving yourself a little bit more playtime with it is better. It's better just for my own sanity. Just make sure it doesn't slide once you tack it where it needs to go, because it can drift a little bit, so that's why we heated up those corners. We got a Subaru. we're gonna pull the tape. Why would Tint get fingers on the side? You didn't shrink it enough. Oh, it looks so nice. Very clean. Okay, now we got two options. We can continue, do the other door, and then cut out the rear. We could cut out the quarters and the plotter, or we could jump over and double cut the back doors. Well, let's keep installing. I use seal guard for the seals, and I use panel guard for the door panels. Can we hear the story of the broken window a few streams ago? Do you remember what it was? Because I've broken a few. There was a back glass, and then there was two windshields. Cutting all my doors and then installing. Yeah, that's typically what I would do. I'll change things because of the stream. So new people float in and out, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I haven't seen this part before. Instead of the same thing all back to back to back to back to back. But yeah, that's typically what I do. Cut all the doors, install all the doors, then focus on the back. I broke 2 Model 3 windows my second month of tinting. Oof. Oof. Yikes. So I've broken some windows by just being unsafe. And you live and learn. On older GM cars, so Grand Prix, there's some Buicks that did it, and a handful of other ones. Grand Prix, Grand M's, they had stick-on antennas. Yeah, antennas. So they would take double-sided stick tape, put an external antenna on the back glass, and then have the connector on the inside of the glass. And it was really aggressive. And you just had to take your time, heat up the mount, and then you could slice away at the adhesive and get each side to break loose. Well, I would get impatient, and I would try and use something to pry away as I was removing that like puck style mount. And then I just like took a pry tool and then I twisted it and I popped the entire back window. Just because I was impatient with it. Shattered. That was great. And then there were two different points in time I broke Ford windshields, but I was removing mirrors and it wasn't the F-150s. They were both aftermarket. And it was the easier style to remove, but everybody had told me to just peel the mirror off the tab. They didn't have the handy little like pick trick. I didn't know about it at the time, so I just took their advice. And then there was both of them had aftermarket. One was on a Mustang, one was on an old Taurus. Pull the car in, got to remove the mirror, go to peel it off, and it rips a chunk of glass clean out of the windshield. All right, so we are going to install this door. Peel it, spray it, make sure you get water all over the pattern because you need it to slide. And then we're going to get this side up on the glass. And then we're going to get this tucked into the side. My kid broke a Grand Prix windshield on an 09 I had because he tried to peel it off. Ah, that's what I did. It was on a Buick though, but yeah, that stuck on antenna. The adhesive is just really aggressive and you can heat it up, slice away at it with like a tint knife. And you can eventually like take it off. It's just needed to be more patient with it. Too much pressure. Pop. Do you replace the windows when you broke them? Yeah, of course. There's one window that I had scratched with a plastic card. That was a bummer. That was at a shop that would do everything in-house, but they had contractors come in to do all the extra stuff, so they were like a high-end detail shop. They did PPF, but they would contract somebody to come in and do PPF, and they would contract us to come in and do window tint. And then their glass guy was mobile, and so he would come in and replace any broken glass. And so I scratched up a door window on a BRZ accidentally. Oh, you better believe it was OEM. Because it was a brand new car. You can't give somebody an aftermarket piece of glass just because you fucked up. You gotta give them what they had. $550. Didn't even charge that much for the tint job. Sucked. Ah, it was an old school thing on that antenna. That's an interesting way to put it. Spraying it over and over lubricates its soul in order to hasten the ritual to hearken the end of the world. Yeah, that's about right. I agree with that. That'll be on the test. You need to know it verbatim. All right. So let's wipe this off. Check it over. Looks good. Really good. Ooh, I like it. Okay, so we need another set of doors now because we're going to do the rear. And we're going to do that in 35. Holographic? No, I've done a few chameleon films. But most of what we do is... Oh, you know what? I did. There's somebody that watched the channel that brought in some like weird star tint, and we did the windshield in it. Forgot about that. One time I did. Purple rags are definitely microfibers. We're definitely doing the small window. We're just not doing it immediately. I'm going to cut them out on the plotter. I should probably just go over and do that first, and then I can pull the covers off. This is my pattern, though. I default to like doing the doors, cutting them all, installing them all, like the roll downs, and then focus on the back and then the littler stuff, and then front windshields typically last. More just running on autopilot. Okay, so yeah, let's leave this. Let's do that, because I got door panels sitting here. Might as well just get those quarter windows done. We're gonna take a look-see first. This is an interesting choice. I like that. They make that far easier to pull back. Thank you, Subaru. Also, that doesn't pinch in so bad. A little bit, but not bad. Thank you, Subaru. They made their quarter windows a little bit easier. What do you charge? What do you charge for 2015 Ram? All around limo film. I won't do limo on the windshield, but all around in our carbon would be $450, and you can pick the shades. Nothing darker than 35 on the shield, though. Put this down. Another W for Subaru is this eyesight system on this one. I mean, I'm not going to give them too many props here, but at least they've done this border on this specific one. So we're going to do a cutout that follows down around each one of those, which is a little goofy, but it could have been far worse. I'd rather do that than an Audi any day. They give me space to work with. Okay, so Subaru Forester 2026. But I started rambling on a little bit too much about the eyesight system, and I looked at it and I was like, oh wait, no, it's fine. All right, we got these quarters, so let's bring them in. Whatever that was. We're gonna do a 24-inch roll. Bring these over. We can save a little bit more film. So this is core. This is $200 a month just for window tint. We'll let it cut and then we'll adjust it after. I can make that app for cheap. You can make the interface now. The money is in the database. So there's actually no OEM pattern database available, like from manufacturers. And also your cutouts are going to differ from actually getting a template of the window itself, because we're not tinting the entire window. We're tinting everything that's exposed and, you know, up on the sides a little bit. But if you went all the way to the very edge of the glass, a lot of times you'd be going too far. Might be able to get something for the windshield, but not that I've ever seen. But yeah, software's crazy now. You can build a lot of fun stuff for a lot less money. Ooh, I forgot to change my settings. Ooh, we're doing Apex. It's a good reminder. At least it's only on a couple quarters. I looked at it and I cut it. So this blade here is a 25 degree, 30 degree blade, something like that. This is the same degree. I just have it set up for a 2mm film. You can get it set up to use the same blade with different thicknesses. I just wanted a lot more cutting consistency anyways. So I'm going to change it to condition 2. I'm going to put my blade that's already set up for it. That's only on speed 50. We should double it. You guys ever seen quarter windows cut out that fast? So I have the trace on these quarters, but it didn't cut through enough for me to just peel them. But with the right blade depth, now we can peel this. You see how that all comes out nice and clean. But when we cut these out, we're just cutting through film. We're not cutting through liner. So you still have to do some weeding. Okay, so this one is going to be for this window. How do you get the dimensions for it? There's a company that spends millions of dollars sending people around, cutting and scanning vehicles, and building a very sophisticated database. Because they do the same they do window tint and they do PPF as well. Let's change this out. Is it like a Cricut machine? Yes, it basically is. This is where Cricut kind of came from, because industrial cutting machines are used for cutting stickers, graphics, all types of stuff. There's just wide format cutting and printing machines, and Cricut took that idea and made it small for arts and crafts. So I knew about these, and then later on Cricut came out, and I was like, that's kind of funny. But they all have their place. Do you think the cuts off of a plotter are worth the monthly cost? It's a good question. For just an individual tinter that has a car or two a day, generally no. It makes you a little bit lazier, and you don't need the software. You should learn how to hand cut. If I'm running back and forth between the car and the plotter, I'm not really saving time. I save more time on the tedious to cut out things, which is one of the windows that we're doing right now. Quarter windows are more about having like this is more about having a few chances rather than much more efficiency. But on the rear windows, like on this car, those the back window especially, I'm just gonna be able to plot out much faster than hand cutting it. All right, so let's get this. We want to tuck this in a little bit. Just ordered my toolkit from 313. Nice. I hope your practicing goes well. Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, how can they protect dimensions when you cut out patterns? Oh, so they monitor what people cut out in the background. Everything's tracked. So if you think you can go through every car and plot every single car, they're going to catch on. They have internal flags for that because people have tried it. Other companies have definitely done it. They used to allow their software, allow anybody to use their software, and they just found some companies would make accounts and start ripping their patterns off. So now they have shops only. You have to be a verified business to use their database. And they still keep tabs on everybody. So like sharing my login with another shop is not a thing. They'll flag the account and they'll kick me out. This pattern looks really good. So I can only do like, no. Look, do you not think that they've thought of that? Like if I only cut out like 3 cars a day. Even if they don't quite have a flag set up for like a few cars a day, if you're going through every single car, look, you can maybe build something that you can use internally. Good luck trying to sell it though. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's a lot of effort to probably getting a fat lawsuit. Because that's the other side of that. It's not like they would just kick you out. It's like they would go after you. Course owned by Eastman. Eastman owns Lumar and Suntech. And just look up Eastman Chemical Company. They got lots of lawyers. And lots of money to throw at fucking putting you away over dicking around with some patterns. Okay. Might as well get this other quarter window done. Yeah, this looks nice. How many cars do you do a day? Like 1. Yeah, not like a skinny lawsuit, but like a fat lawsuit. You're challenging me. I might do it. Go for it. Fuck it, dude. And then give me cheaper patterns. Why not? I could write a motion to dismiss very well. Dimensions themselves cannot be protected. Buddy, you go for it. You want to rip core off? Fucking go for it. I'm not stopping you. I'm just a little voice of like, hey, maybe. I've taken the California bar review course 3 times, and you're here watching a window tint stream. Like, I'm just clowning around with you. You go do what you want, man. If you do it, you let us know, okay? Tint. Oh. No, so the program that I use for streaming and all that is just a mash of custom software and some available software, so like the actual streaming thing like OBS. But I have a lot of stuff running in the background that gives me like the streaming window, chat, and all that. Just go to like a AI coder and then start yelling at it until it gives you what you want. It's a lot of time and back and forth, but anybody can do it. But it's all like installed on this computer. So everybody's setups are going to be a little bit different than mine, probably. It's nothing that's going to be available to anybody else. Just because I literally built it for me. It's got all my logins and stuff. There we go. Squeegee that up there. Let's see. Did this one turn out good? Think so. It does look good. Nice. Metas? No. No, metas, I answer this constantly. Metas don't stream. They did on Gen 1. They don't anymore. They also wouldn't look very good either. Which is why I think they quietly discontinued the feature. They're cool glasses for just, like, they take good video. They're really convenient for that. I do have a pair. But this is an action camera. See? This guy. Okay. Little DJI 6. Okay. So we did it. We did some quarter windows. Okay, I'm gonna ban this person. This is not the same Tint pot. No. What GoPro do you recommend? I just showed it. It's not a GoPro. It's a DJI Action 6. That's what I like. GoPro, I think, is gonna go away. I tried their latest one. I bought it and then I returned it because it wasn't as good as this. For streaming, anyways. This one just had a lot more flexibility and it just worked. I couldn't even get the GoPro to really work. Well, but I have a unique situation, so I have a bunch of crazy shit going on now. Okay, so we are gonna cut out the rest of this door. It's important to note on these types of back doors, this is your side edge. This is not part of your side edge. This is your top edge. You have two top edges on this. So we're gonna lower this down to where we're gonna tuck it. And then we're gonna roll this down. And then we are going to take a knife, put out about that much blade, and you see we got a cut here and a cut here. You can go around in one swoop, or you can break it up into two cuts. Cut along that edge, and then we're gonna cut along this edge. All right, like that. Then we gotta cut our tabs off. This will be all good. So we're gonna round this corner. I need a ruler. And we're gonna straighten this edge. So just have that cut going continuously straight. This one, just follow the straight lines. Round your corner. And then on this side, exact same thing. So you straighten out that cut, you round the corner, and then we can take this edge and then continue straight, right like that. And then this edge is straight too as well. So just intersecting lines, right like so, round that corner, and then this round just a little bit more. But we can put this on the window, see how it matches up. We're gonna round that just a touch more. Just a skosh. Whoopsies. Actually. I wonder if he's met Eminem. We're off at 18 Mile. Or near 18 Mile. So there's Metro Detroit's a giant grid. There's 8 Mile, 9 Mile, 10 Mile, 11 Mile. It goes up into like the 30s. Grew up on 9 Mile. But no, I never met him. Oh, we're in Sterling Heights, though. And I heard you grew up in Warren. Warren's right next door to us. I never even thought to look up, like, I didn't hear where he grew up until, like, years, like last year. I just never thought to look. Yeah, I should have. I should have walked up and down 8 Mile until I found him, and then we would have rap battled. Like a wild Pokemon fight. When we drive up and down 8 Mile, if we have to, like, if we're ever on 8 Mile, we look over and we're like, is that Eminem? Is that him? That's him. We found him. Detroit was the Motor City. It was the home of so much manufacturing. And then all that manufacturing, a lot of those businesses went under. We still have a lot of manufacturing. There's still auto plants here. I'm right next to Stellantis. But it just got overbuilt, and then all the money went away, and then there's just like everything's too expensive to fix, and I don't think you know how big Metro Detroit really is. It's a mixing pot of the entire world. Just like anywhere, there's nice areas, there's bad areas. All right. So we're going to clean this window. Tint on the outside. I know. We should put that on the inside. So let's do that. That's what we're going to do right now. We'll put some tint that's on the outside. We're going to put it on the inside. No, the people that were here yesterday, they were here for their 3-day class. Do you use the RTMP to go live? I do. I do use the RTMP. But my setup's quite a bit different than what comes on the camera. So I use the RTMP to go to a Mac, and then I split it to go to a few different places. I have an RTMP server running on Mac Mini. I hope he has another chat somewhere. I do. So we got you guys, well, both combined here, but we have one platform number 2. These people that are like a little too openly racist without trying to seem racist. Jesus. All right. So, we're going to tint this window. We talk about too many other things. We need to focus on the tinting. Most expensive car that you tinted was at M&M's. Oh, here I go again. No. Few different supercars, but I may have tinted for a few other celebrities and just not realized it. There were like Detroit Lions football players that would come to the shop sometimes. A few Red Wings players. But I did. This was a little nerve-wracking, but cool too. The small fellow from Pirates of the Caribbean. He had. I'm trying to remember what car it was. He had something cool. With an aftermarket screen and system, and he just put on 80s and 70s movies while I tinted it, and he just sat in the car. He was a cool dude. No, it wasn't Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage wasn't in Pirates. I want to be the one to ask keep the chat on topic despite being the one that derails it. You don't get to do that. I've been mostly taking us off topic, but can we please stay on topic? Just type out something and then delete it. Yeah. All the way back there through that door. Yep. Right on the left. Ooh, the window. I see it. 24 seconds. Oh, that's rude. They always want me to do this twice. I saw it. I did it. I'm real. How'd you learn how to do tint? Oh, I had some training in the beginning. It was my full-time job. Right after that training, and I just kept practicing, kept talking to people. There were community groups that I found, generally not helpful. This was back in like 2008. There's a few online forums, but yeah, they weren't very helpful. So anybody local, I was working for my dad's company, so he would hire another tinter, and then I would either learn good things or learn what not to do from that specific person. We had somebody scratched up cars, stole our shop van. We had other people that just had drug and alcohol problems, so like they would show up some days and then they would ghost for like an entire week. They would almost always do it after they got paid on like a Friday, and then they would disappear for the weekend. And so we'd have like a lot of cars booked and be like, all right, see you tomorrow. Yeah, man, I'll see you for sure. And then like all these cars show up in the morning on Saturday and they're just gone. And you're like, well, fuck me. It sucked. Yeah, so it wasn't my shop at the time, but yeah, it's just like you're on, like you got to be careful on just firing those people too, because this is one reason why I hesitate to I'm really comfortable where things are right now. I worked a long time in a lot of different situations. And things are really, really nice right now. It's very easygoing. I have a good time, lower stress, not trying to get a bunch of cars done every day. I've lived that. It's good. Make good money. But eventually you just kind of feel burned out and you just start counting car after car after car, and when is the end of the day? Not everybody, but that definitely happened to me. So I like tinting cars, but I also like doing other shit too. That's where all this stuff comes from. Just turned a giant hobby into a full-time job. But yeah, a lot of window tinting can be very hard to hire and teach for. That's why there's so many places that are independent. A lot of businesses get scooped up by bigger corporations and consolidated down into one company, and then they take over everything, supply chains and stuff. The problem with window tint is it's very skill based, and while there's some companies that have scaled up and developed programs, it's still very, very challenging to grow outside of like one person in one location. Because the money always seems like it's just 100% based on the skill. It's not, but it's easy to kind of get started there. So somebody hires in a tinter, they teach them, or maybe that person knew how to tint somewhat. That shop grows. Tinter wants more. Shop can't pay them more. They hit a ceiling. And then that person becomes competition and goes elsewhere. Starts a shop. Whatever the case may be. So it's always harder to train new people in auto. All right, so we are gonna sweep this window off. Squeegee everything. We're gonna hit the sides with some gel. That is the American dream. We're gonna peel this. Spray that. Pick it up off the glass. We're gonna start with the long side first. Get this up on the window. Tuck that in. Go over to this side. Pull it shy of the seal and then squeak it over. Get it nice and close. Close as we can without going over. It's looking pretty good. I'm gonna start squeegeeing this. American dream is winning the lottery, but then what? Oh, I'll give you here. I want you to type this out and copy it into GPT. Matt uses a Action 6, streams RTMP to a server on a Mac Mini, picks up that server RTMP feed in OBS, and then he also has a branch off of HDMI that goes to a YOLO box. To stream to somewhere else. And then tell it about that, and then I'll teach you all about that. But that's the basic setup. Put this in right like that. What the F is a YOLO box? You can type that in too. It was all on the Mac Mini. using their own software, but man, they're so frustrating. If I stream from the desktop to the same place for TikTok, they 100% suppress the feed versus independently streaming from their app. It's kind of frustrating. But I'm for sure that is happening. Oh yeah, we should. See, I would rather talk about streaming stuff and equipment and whatnot all day and sorting out those problems, but I guess we can talk about tinting a car. Tinting is a really good outlet for all of that, though. So, like, I like messing around with this stuff, but I like a purpose for it. And so I basically took all my computer stuff and mashed it all into window tinting. I will use GeoShield. I have that set up, but how do I get the RTMP from TikTok? You can. I honestly, it's not worth the time. You can apply. Yeah, this guy. You can apply through a. Sorry, I'm trying to think of what it was. Like a group? On TikTok, there are. Like, what's an MCN? They had those for YouTube as well. Basically, like, companies would get people to sign contracts, and you would be part of like a group network, and then you would get access to like certain perks that other people wouldn't. That is the only perk that I think that you can still get through them. But it's too much fucking hassle. They have an app. Just download the desktop app, Live Studio. Then you can stream off of. You can just do both. You can have OBS, and then you can have TikTok Studio. But I feel like they're suppressing any external means that's not through their native app, so. That's why we're streaming through their app. Okay, so we're gonna load this and we're gonna cut out the back window. Aw, they even did Subaru. Big turnaround from Subaru. They being super nice about making their cars. I mean, they've probably been doing this for a while. But in general, they're a little bit more tinter friendly now. What's the point of using ceramic film in Michigan? We still get heat, but I'll tell you what. It's more in the cooler months. It's actually really nice to help maintain. So like you'll dress up in a coat and it'll be cold, and then you'll remote start your car, you'll heat it up and you'll be all cold and you get in your car, and then next thing you know you're in your car for 10, 15 minutes and you start sweating because it gets so warm. You're in a jacket and everything, you can turn it down, but you still feel that sun hitting your skin. It's been really nice because you just, like with ceramic film, you just don't feel that anymore. So initially you want to feel a little extra warmth, but there's definitely points that you're like, okay, I'm hot now. But I agree. Like I would have thought it's only for summer months. No, it's nice to have all year round. But that's more like when you have it and live with it, you notice that kind of stuff. It's harder to explain. All right, so we're gonna grab this back window. Quarters. Ooh, we should do this on a 36. Should I tint my car even if it came with a tint? Maybe. This came with aftermarket, or this came with factory. So, like a 25% on the rear, and we're doing a 35% over it. That's going to make it darker. We put a 20% on the front. So that's up to you. A lot of people do if it's factory like that, a lot of people do the front doors and the full windshield. YOLO box a bit expensive. Yup. And it's somewhat janky too. But it's like one of the only tools that does the job. There's a couple alternatives, but I don't think there's anything that's going to be less expensive. And it was the only thing that did it at the time. I used it, and then I put it away for a while. And then literally a couple days ago, I had to bring it back out and set it all back up again. Algorithms shift. It really does. Like, so for a while it was fine and I didn't have to use it. And now I've noticed I've had to use it again. It's completely different. It also helps to literally stop and then restart the stream too. Like you hit a certain point and then it just tails and it never climbs back up. But I could restart the stream and have a completely different viewership. So I'll probably do that when we're done with the rear on this. I'll just restart it for the windshield. Did you just show Instagel? Why? That's where it makes stuff up, and I'm like, why did you do that? I didn't mention it once this whole stream. All right. So we need to set up the back window. Yeah, chest mount's pretty good. I used to use a head mount. I got tired of using a head mount, but they're nice too. You could switch back and forth between one. No, I actually do it differently. But that could probably work too. So I put the DJI to a server on the Mac, and then I split that RTMP feed. Oh, you know what? I don't know if that would work. Because like when you're using RTMP, you need a dedicated RTMP like receiver server. I don't think the YOLO box does that. It's basically just like a read broadcaster, so it'll pick up the feed off of a server. So I had to have a server on the Mac for that. That gets picked up by OBS. And then I did projector out on OBS to the YOLO. But I was dicking around with it for 2 hours this morning because technical fun. Mac is stupid. Yeah, you basically need like a middleman. So RTMP goes specifically to like a server of some type. Server sounds fancy, like a big box or whatever. It's a piece of software that picks up the video feed. And then you got to tell OBS or your YOLO box or any other thing to basically pick up and display that video feed. All right, so we are shrinking this back window. Take the heat gun, point it at the film, and we just want to move it back and forth until we start seeing these little ocean waves. This is a hatchback window, so these are fairly straightforward to shrink. They're generally way shorter and way less curved. This is kind of like middle for a hatchback. It's not quite like as flat as a Tahoe is. It's got a little curve in these lower corners. More like a Focus hatch. So a lot of your curve is actually going to be right down here. Shrink, 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 shrink. And go a little bit more. See this? That? Instead of letting it kind of ride out, smaller finger on the side here, that turns into a bigger finger that needs to be pushed out. That's something that could be touched up pretty easily on the inside. So if you have little fingers that pop up on the edges, it's easy to take care of them. You're not going to shrink them on the inside, but you are going to heat them up a little bit, dry them out. How did you start? My dad has a auto accessories company that I started at. I started doing auto accessories and detailing. People that worked there started teaching me how to be helpful. Because like I first was there for detailing, and that you're just kind of on your own. And then started getting into other stuff, buying tools, being helpful, putting on step bars, tonneau covers, replacing auto glass for a little bit. So I grew up around auto accessories, and because he had at one point like 12 to 15 locations. Accessories was a real hot business until OEMs started doing everything in-house and margins started shrinking, price competition. Not just from competitors, but it was easier to hunt down product online. So they started tinting, and that always grew and did really well. And the auto accessories kind of faded. So I got started in that company. So when do you use... So then what do you use to get the server? What's it called? Where's my mount? Oh yeah, that died. That's fun. Hang on. I don't remember what it's called. Local RTMP server. That's what it's called. It's way easier to figure all this out with AI now. So just like I can, because it's still getting kind of like tweaked around and moved, and there's audio issues. There's been a whole I'm still going through stuff, but the gist of it is this camera streams to the Mac over RTMP, and there's a little server program that picks up that video feed on my local network. And then OBS picks up that video feed from that server program, like as like a local source. And then boom, you got wireless camera. And then you can stream to a bunch of places right off of there with OBS. TikTok is the closed down, frustrating one. They don't like third-party tools. They're very controlling. They're actually extremely controlling, and like they flag things that you say. They don't like external link. They don't like a whole bunch of stuff. Everywhere else is cool though. So I had to buy a box to basically let me plug in an external camera and then load up the app and use that external camera. But they do have desktop software called Live Studio that you can stream from. So you do everything right on the computer itself. But from what I can tell, viewership is very finicky there. Like sometimes it's been fine, and then more recently it kept like, this wasn't good. And then I stream this way, and then like viewership completely changes, and it's like, oh, well, okay, we're back to doing that. He's basically saying go to ChatGPT, because there's so many details and things to learn that I cannot explain it on stream, and a lot of it is still changing, and it's been changing forever. Anytime I'm like, this is all set up, it's good. and something else happens. Or I get an idea to do something else. So that's where like my clipping program came from. It's like, oop, we gotta do something else now. So before I get into this, so like this morning, the Mac's supposed to have 3 dedicated, like it can handle 3 external displays. And holy fucking shit, it just was not. I have these 2 mirrored to each other, and then I need the third one to be independent to go to that box. Can't tell you how many times I reset it, unplugged stuff, rearranged stuff, went into settings. And if I restart it, I think it all farts it back to whatever it wants to, because that little box then becomes the main display. And it's like, this is, Mac sucks with external sources. Windows is probably a smarter choice. When you get into this much streaming stuff, Windows is generally a little bit better. They're not without problems, but you can have a lot more customization freedom. How does your clipping program work? AI listens and finds something. Okay, so every 30 seconds, my audio gets transcribed by GPT Whisper. And then it takes 10-minute windows and then processes them for clips. So the 30 seconds is so I can say stuff like, Tint bot, show the panel guard in chat. And then cross your fingers that it'll work. We're not there at that mark yet. We're close. I'm gonna sweep this off one more time and then we'll install it. See, and it didn't work that time. And then I gotta go back and go like, hey, why didn't it work? Tintbot, can you link panel guard in chat, please? It should work better than it does, but it's still touchy. There it goes. All right. Ooh. Let's do this because we got. Let's slide this in first. And then we can bring this up. Otherwise, I'm going to be stuck. There we go. Fan this out. What the heck? Oh, that looks like a gap. That's not a gap. That's goofy. What is that? Actually not. That's wild. That, to me, it looks like a tint gap. That's actually not a gap. What the fuck? I gotta look at what that is in a minute. Oh, that must just be a little water smear then on the outside. Oh, okay, that's what that is. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun lately. Sorting out interesting problems. Each platform. Each platform has uploading limitations, I found out. Like like it makes sense that you can't upload like 1,000 videos in a day, but each one of them is different. And they don't really tell you when you can post again. And they don't really tell you how many times that you can post. You just got to kind of figure it out. It's been fun. Uh-oh. Okay. Whew. We're still good. Windows Tint's always been my outlet for messing around with stuff. You're not CEO of a company because, well, I mean, like I own a tool one, but maybe like head of the nerdy tech division. That's what I like doing. But what's been really challenging about tinting and streaming has always been wireless video. This would be so much easier to do everything if we could just go off of one camera that was always plugged in. But I need to walk around the car. And that just throws such a monkey wrench into every setup ever. Or you just have somebody hold the camera and walk around with you. That's always a possibility. All right, so we're gonna cut these out. .24 is not the best choice for this, but here we are. Lonely screen to live studio for meta glasses. I don't know what lonely screen is. But meta glasses, they just don't have very good quality when you actually stream with them. There's a couple apps that I got to test that out. Hang on. Test flight. What ones did I use? Lenscast and yet another stream utility. I got yet another stream utility to work. Restream. Yep, I got a Restream account. I was using that for a while. Restream's pretty good. They're one of the workarounds that lets you go. So that does. You could go straight from the camera directly to Restream, and then stream out to a bunch of places, and that'll make life a whole lot easier because you can forget about the computer, most of the computer setup. Right, just like this. Ah, shit. Hang on. No, it was like this. I'm gonna figure out real quick because I was sidetracked while I was putting a puzzle back together. Okay, so this was like this? No, it wasn't. What the fuck? It had to have been like this then. Guys, I'm going crazy here. Oh. Is it like this? Think so? Which means this edge can be shrunk. But I want to shrink it a little bit. I hope I'm not wrong. Oh. No, I would be wrong. It's got to go this way. I got to shrink out this edge. Okay. No, I was close. This one. This one. That's what it is. Final answer. Yeah, another stream utility works. Yes, it did. At least for the Gen 2s that I have, but the quality is not very good, which is why I don't stream off of them. Because I was going to hook up like a external battery to it. But there's just not enough. We need too much. Does that make sense? Streaming video is really demanding, and so there's too much crammed into a really small form factor on the metas. It's kind of a miracle that streaming works as well on this camera as well as it does. Honestly, the best streaming device wireless was an iPhone. It's just it gets a little big. Yeah, and then this goes like this. Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure I got that right. When I cut quarter windows out on plotters, or just, you know, a window that looks like it can be any direction, and then I rotate it, I can still only shrink out a certain way on it. So the top and the bottom, which comes out this way, so everything feeds this way, right? And it comes out there. And then I take it and I flip the pattern and I'm like, oh shit. Which way is that supposed to go? I don't remember. We got there. With one pattern anyways. And the restream question, I haven't heard of the other one or used the other one. I was just using Restream. If you want the simplest setup from an action camera, you could pick up a DJI 6. You could probably stream directly to Restream and just link your accounts, and then you'd be off to the races. What doesn't work then is chat. Right? Like nothing's going to be on the phone, so you need a computer anyways to then display your chat, and then you'll find you need an external third-party chat app from Restream, because Restream can connect natively to like a YouTube or a Facebook, but they do not connect to TikTok in the same way. TikTok is kind of a butt. I'm just kidding. Our TikTok overlords love you. You're great. So that's why I have my own chat app that plugs into both. Like, oh my God. Everything that I've set up has been a tiny miracle that it works. Hours of banging my head against the wall, though. And then I want everything to go out, like, not just have a monitor to read it, but then I text-to-speech. So it's got to speak it to me. And then that's why I have so many audio routing issues. Is because I need audio to get routed to more than one place. TikTok says, you're banned. I know. Can't be a normal streamer and just use the thing and click go live. I gotta do too much extra. Tint gel? Oh, I don't make my own tint gel. I know how this stuff is made. Dude, it's time consuming if you want to make a bunch of it. Like making a gallon, you throw some powder in a bottle with a few extra things and then stir it up. But then if you want to make more than that, it's like you gotta scale up, buddy. Same thing with your water. Shit's got to be clean, distilled, or DI, or RO. Are you going to SEMA? Probably not. We've just been busy here, and then we take a trip out to the Philippines for a long time. So it's like any time away from the business is like family vacations to go do something. There's still too little. One of them's 5, the other one's 2. It's every day is a circus with them. So it's hard to go do things with a 2-year-old. We figure out some fun family stuff, but she needs to grow up just a little bit more, and then she'll be fun. Here we go. Squeegee that off. Spray that. Got some gel. Oh, I forgot to shrink it. Uh-oh. Can I do that quick? Both of them? Oh yeah, both of them are flipped around that way. Okay. Well, we can do that quick. Yeah, both of them have this edge facing up. So that works. Ooh, yay! Good, 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 good. Trust the plotter. Because then I look at it, I'm like, I probably cut it out that way. No, I didn't. I'll pop this sucker in. Right like so. Be the last window before we get to the windshield. Oh, it has nothing. So shrinking has nothing to do with it being pre-cut or not. A plotter doesn't actually change having to do that. It's the curve in the glass. So I could cut this by hand, or I could cut it by a plotter, and I still have to shrink it to fit the curve. Window film's not stretchy. Not really. So plotter or hand cutting gets you the shape. It doesn't take out any extra steps. All right, so I'm gonna take a minute here. I'm gonna get this windshield set up. Times it 1. Okay, doing good. All right, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna end stream for a little bit, and then we'll restart.